Um, but prior to high school, like I had no idea like who 50 was and whatnot. I remember my cousin coming over to my house to, make me a CD, right? Make a mix CD. Back then we had to download our music, LimeWire and all of that stuff, that era, right? So she like came over and introduced me to those programs. And that's how I started downloading like different music, listening to I would look for the remixes. So I remember I was the first one actually to play the Usher and Ludacris You Don't Have to Call remix. I took a trip to Toronto with the Steel Pan Band. Um, this was grade six, and yeah, this is when I made my like first mixtape or audio CD or whatever, right? Because I wasn't really mixing when I was 12, but I was putting songs on a CD and whatnot. So yeah, I was like the first one to find that remix amongst my boys, and I kind of introduced that to them. Like we were on the bus jamming to that CD. Uh, yeah, that Ludaverse was heavy. So when I went in high school, it was just like I was listening to the different cadences that I liked, like the different artists. Um, you know, for me, I I liked Ja Rule, Murder Inc. at that time, right? Early 2000s. I was watching, Much Music and all of that. So there was a lot of Ja Rule on there. So, I was a fan in the beginning, but then like 50's whole approach, like it just caught me off guard and it was entertaining, right? Like I like that whole bully style or whatnot. It made me laugh or whatnot, right? So I gravitated more towards 50, and yeah, and I enjoyed the album whatnot. And then when Beg for Mercy came out, popping them things, like that was my favorite song. Like that beat was just banging for me. So in high school, like spent my time doing like a lot of remixes prior to that album coming out, right? Beg for Mercy was
You know,
what,
it's
04, 05?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But yeah, when Beg for Mercy came out, it was also around the time where I was able to finally like write my first song for school purposes. So in music class was like Sec 3, prior to being able to write our own song, like all we were doing was playing the acoustic guitar, playing those little songs in the book. And for me it's like, yo, this is not music class. Like I didn't sign up for this. I learned more in steel pen than I do here, right? I thought music class was actually music class, right?
Mm.
But no, make sure you bring your pick next week, guys. All right, I don't bring my pick to class because I don't want to play no, the spider went in my oatmeal kind of songs. Like, nah, like I don't have time for that. Um, so I completely just ignored the class in a sense to the point where it was like I was on the verge of failing music class, right? And it just didn't make sense. Somebody who's just so fond of steel pan, I know actual music, like why am I failing music class, right? All because I don't bring a pick to class to play the guitar, right? But finally she allowed us to make our own song, like come up, form a group and make a song. So it was me, Mr. Pong. So back then I went by the name Lil Sane. I think that's when, yeah, I came out with the name Lil Sane. As I said before, I was influenced by the Lil Bow Wows, the Lil Waynes, the Lil Zanes, right, from elementary. So I kind of knew, you know, I wanted to be a Lil. My first email was Lil Baby Boy 2K2, like.
Hey.
So yeah, that was my first Hotmail. So I went by the name Lil Sane back then in high school. Um, and yeah, so I formed a group, me, Matrix or Mr. Pong, and this white dude who plays the guitar. He knows nothing about rap, but he has a guitar at home, and he felt like he could contribute some guitar tabs. It's like, all right, cool. he he's the first he's the first person like I seen with like recording software, right? So I went to his house to do the project, but I took that song, popping them things, like I found that instrumental, and we kind of kept the same cadence, the same flow, and I just went for it, just changed it to like every day in high school. All the girls be around on my whole crew. Like what? We hold them down like we supposed to. But they can front if they want, but they know they're gonna be my shawty. Like, it's making songs for girls like from back then kind of thing.
It's a smart move.
And
That's what. That's the. Yo, what did Don Smooth tell me? Watch the women. What's Jamal
watch the
doing? Go for
women,
the women. That's
right?
just what it is. Yo, I didn't even know that. So literally, now that's the new moves. That's all I care about. I'm like, that's the smart people move. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, man. So, that's when I got to make my first official like remix kind of thing, like actually record it. Um, and yeah, like that was like my favorite project in high school, right? Like I got to write my own song kind of thing. So then when I saw Hustle and Flow, it was just like, okay, like I'm gonna get myself a mic. It was like a year or two after that. I'm gonna get myself
Yo,
a
it's
microphone.
like, yo, no, for real though. Just to add to the hustle and flow thing, cause I had a like, yo, I'm not like, I'm a couple years older, like 2, 3 max. So like, I
Yeah,
remember watching Hustle and Flow when I'm like 18 or 19, and I'm like, yo, cause he like gets this low end gear, and then they're in the room and they make that like whoop that trick track, like they make that song in the
yeah,
room.
bro.
You watch them. Do, 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 do. Okay, yo,
Yeah,
that's hype. Loop that, and like, oh, I'd never seen that process happen. And then he just
me
comes in
neither.
and drops this one take, and you're like, I guess that's what it is. And I wonder if that's why we all want a one take, is because Terrence
We
Howard.
want a one take.
But
Yeah,
yo,
bro. Terrence Howard, I think he inspired a lot of us. You know what I mean? He inspired a lot of, at least to, get our own shit.
nah, but
I
like
would say that,
all of it though, just seeing it, it's like, yo, you could have
Yeah,
that.
man.
Like, I could do that because it didn't look impossible. It didn't look like professionals. It looked like, and then life moves on, and the next thing you know, you are in a room one day like that, and then the next thing you know, you're on Twitch having conversations and shit, and life's fascinating.
Right?
But
Yeah,
that's
man.
mad nifty. Anyway, so yeah, hustle and flow inspires you to get yourself in like a position to roll.
Yeah. So, I got myself a microphone. Um, yeah, I hung that shit up on the ceiling, man. I let that thing hang. And yeah, like 0506, I was kind of just having fun. I had some shit on YouTube. I made like a high times series kind of thing.
What is a high
But I was
time
just
series?
taking, I would just get high and I would put on an instrumental, and that's when I like freestyled and just did ridiculous
Wait,
shit. You
when
know what I mean? It was
you're at
it
the
was more
beginning,
comedic.
you were in the beginning of YouTube making freestyle high videos.
Yeah, man.
That's not the
Yeah,
average.
man.
That's actually really fucking cool.